Hello, and welcome back to my Therapist Plays Disco Elysium analysis series. Okay, I'm really excited about today's episode. We're finally getting into our first encounter with the union boss, Everard Clare, and kind of breaking down lots of different psychological angles on power dynamics, and have a lot to share today on real techniques that I actually use in my practice as a therapist to navigate sort of like difficult conversations with people who either don't want to talk to you or are in some sort of power struggle, and how do you sort of get that person opening up about things. We're going to use some of those techniques on Mr. Clare. And by the end of this episode, we're going to learn a little bit more about ourselves and what kind of cop we are. Yes, we're finally getting our capo type. I'm sure very few of you will be surprised at what I end up with. So I'm excited to share this one. Let's dive in. Okay, so I have an objective. I have the objective to progress this game's storyline. Like, I do want to just like mention why I am going about playing this game this way, because I do think it's relevant when you see my character do things like just totally give up on pursuing the narrative to try to find like cigarettes, for example. This is a role play, right? So sometimes I'm going to be speaking as like Brady the therapist. Sometimes I'm going to be speaking as like Brady the degenerate who is using this as a kind of escapism from my very serious real life that I like. This is where I get to be a goofball. And sometimes I'm going to like speak from the voice of my character, right? And just like say random nonsense garbage that I think he would say or think, right? And one of the things that is really important about this character specifically, because he is someone representing the struggle of addiction, is how like we have all kinds of priority structures in our mind, right? Like there's the whole just basic needs hierarchy of like, you need food, you need water, you need rest, and only once those things are satisfied can you really focus on like higher order things like you know, your self-esteem and your self-worth and the balance of health in your relationships and those sorts of things, right? The problem with addiction is that your body has become dependent on a chemical, one that's harmful to you. And so it completely hijacks what should be a normal set of priorities, right? And for example, like your self-esteem, when that is intact and when you can focus on that as a priority, like you may be able to say, okay, I am going to go complete this task. I am going to go talk to someone. I am going to ask this person what they think. I'm going to canvass the scene. I'm going to do real fucking police work. Okay? But that's like a higher order thing. My body being chemically dependent on a substance is telling me, no, this is more important. This is basically like comparable to your body needs food. It needs this chemical, right? Like nicotine is a stimulant. So like that's hijacking basically like my sympathetic nervous system and telling me like you're in danger without this thing, right? Opiates and depressants like alcohol, they hijack more like the parasympathetic side of your nervous system, which is all about like the body being at rest. And so imagine you're someone who is addicted to both alcohol and cigarettes, and you have two halves of your nervous system, one that deals with very active compulsions, fight or flight response, that's your sympathetic, and your parasympathetic, which is dealing with the body at rest, regulating heart rate and all that stuff. And you're doing a stimulant on one side and a depressant on the other, and like they're just pulling you apart basically, and both sides are demanding you keep this train going, right? It's totally going to hijack whatever like logical, emotional, empathetic sides of you that have like all these fucking things to do, right? Like if this is your life, like how many things we have to do here, and we've only been like at this for like a day basically. How do you prioritize that when something is hijacking that whole system and telling you like, no, the most important thing that you do right now is you find a way to like get high, or you know, you're not showing the intelligence that you think you have in these conversations. So like you feel smarter when you're buzzed on nicotine, so go find a cigarette, right? Like that's the path I'm sort of role playing when I'm like, ooh, I'm not gonna get distracted. Actually, stop everything. Let's go find cigarettes. Like it's all a part of that. Okay, I'm trying to like represent the struggle, the real struggle, which this game is perfect at demonstrating so far. Probably worth saying that you already do have a past, so role-playing as a therapist might not come through much in the gameplay. Well, that's true. I've given up on that pursuit because I didn't know that really when I started this. I thought that this game was going to be like just roleplay. I didn't know that there was going to be a concrete narrative to my character, so I was just kind of like going to put something in there. But I realized that now that I've played some more, that's not really relevant, so... Yeah, I mean, like, I'm very satisfied with the personal narrative that our character has been through so far. Despite us not playing the game very well. I'm okay with it. Okay, so, as I've already failed at my mission to progress this game, let's continue. Let's fucking do it, okay? What do we gotta do now? We gotta talk to the union boss. I gotta solve this murder. Let's do that. What is this? The coffee in the giant thermoses is still lukewarm. Okay, we've made coffee recently. Stair made of pallets leading up. Oh, this must be the union boss. So he hangs out in like a storage container. An office. That's a interesting environment he's got here. What has he got up there? Swordfish. Tells the time. Until I run into another clerk. Look, you guys are starting to detect my patterns. It's like store clerks. They're the unseen like pillars of society, right? Like everything goes through them. Every chain of commerce and structure in society passes through like the line of a store clerk, right? Like your personal money goes to them, you buy your essentials. That goes back into the economy. They see everything. They've got hidden insights that the rest of us could only dream of. It's store clerks and children. I have very passionate, like, feelings when I see hardships depicted for children. Like I said, I know I tried to hit Kuno, but it's part of the role play. I'm doing what I think my character would do, which is chase his erratic, compulsive, contradictory impulses. Okay, let's talk to this gentleman. Let's see what he's got to say for us. He's very busy.
Before you is a walrus of a man seated behind a large desk. He looks up from his work, not the least bit surprised to see you.
Okay, this lean back, hands behind the back of the head. It's immediate power play. Okay. I'm putting my detective skills at work here. All right. This gentleman sees me with my flashlight, and now I feel like personified by wearing my coat. We're immediately in a power struggle.
With great effort, he straightens himself up in his chair, yet says nothing. He simply stares at you.
Look at this power play. He's trying to size me up. He wants to see what I'm all about.
A typical power play. Wait for him to speak first. Show him you've got a backbone.
What is happening in this playthrough? This is the weirdest real life, like, like where my brain is cohesively attached to the game. This has never happened to me before, where like my direct thoughts get an immediate answer by a game's narrative. This is scary. A typical power play, yes. A Volition coming in strong with a 12-pointer. Wait for him to speak first. Show him you've got a backbone. Okay, Volition, let's say nothing. Look him dead in the eye. I wish the game... if the game acknowledges that I have a flashlight in my hand, just like it acknowledged that I had a crowbar in my hand, I'm gonna freak out. I'm blasting this guy with photosensitivity right now.
The one good eye of this man fills you up without even flickering. The other, his lazy eye, is constantly moving like a goldfish in a tank. Grotesquely magnified by his +6 glasses.
Perception, it's back intact. It's the fucking coat, man. Let's go. This is a boss fight. This is a boss fight of the minds.
For a moment, you don't know where to look. It is unbearably humid in the trailer. Beads of sweat slide down the man's forehead.
Okay, I'm going to progress this a little bit, but then I'm going to tell you how I actually, in real life, deal with getting people who do not want to talk to you to, like, give you information. Again, from the therapist's point of view, like, the reason I'm trying to get information from them is to help them. Like, if I'm working with someone who is like, I don't want to fucking talk to you, and my interest is in, like, you know, talking about things will help you through this, how do you actually get that person to, like, if you can't get them to trust you immediately, how do you just get them to start communicating? I'll share one of my secret techniques.
Yet he's unperturbed, holding his own.
Keep staring. Endure this. Endure this discomfort.
At first, nothing happens. His face wears a wide and self-satisfied smile. Every now and then, he smacks his big lips.
Okay, so I will tell you about it right now, actually, because this is about power dynamics, right? The game very clearly identified that. So there is a technique in, I wouldn't say even just like therapy, but it could very well apply to detective work as well. It's called the foot in the door technique. Okay, and here's how it works. It originated from, I think, like people making like house visits or something, like to individuals who needed help. I'm not totally sure on the history of this, but it's called foot in the door technique because let's say that I already know I'm invited in somewhere. I don't need clearance to come into this person's house. Like, I've already gotten that, but I still ask them, may I come in, please? And they might say yes. I come inside. There is a social, unspoken agreement that, like, okay, I'm now in your house. You sit down. I'm okay to sit down. But what do I do instead? I ask, may I sit here? Yes. Right? I may ask a few more questions like this. Like, do you mind if I cross my legs? Do you mind if I, you know, take my shoes off? Right? You ask these kinds of questions to someone who you already know is going to be kind of difficult to work with. Do you understand why? Why might I start asking questions that I already know I'm going to get approval for? I'm curious if you can spot the answer. Right? In fact, you may find that, like, doing it too much, the person starts to get like, yes, I don't mind, you know, like, just do whatever, you know, you don't need my permission. Can you guess? I'm curious to see. Making them feel more in control, to show respect for their space. So, Immortal Zorus, you have it right. If you agree to one thing, you're more likely to agree to other things. It's something called compliance momentum, basically, right? Like, if you can get someone to comply to something very simple, like may I come into this residence? May I sit here? Psychologically, it has primed this person that the beginning of your relationship is they have already like agreed to something with you. You have built an initial foundation of like agreement, collaboration, and like this very small, very faint thread of like trust in someone. So it's called compliance momentum. That's what you can build with someone. And so like this is useful all the time. Like I said, I work with a lot of people who may be, you know, being released from incarceration or something, maybe on probation. The vast majority of them are actually pretty like fine and eager to actually start working with me. Like I find that most people, especially after, you know, going through something as difficult as that, they're like, yes, I want to work on myself. Like I really, you know, appreciate this opportunity to learn more about myself. Like I don't really have this issue very often, but there is the rare case where someone is just so, they've been so damaged and so like learned to like mistrust people, you know, not to any of their own fault, that like they're just totally shut down and they don't want to talk to you. And so like I will use a lot of compliance momentum, right? You know, I'll open my office door and like I'll ask them, you know, do you mind if I open the blinds a little bit, right? You know, do you mind if like I have my notebook next to me? Do you mind if I drink some water? Like just little shit like that, right? If I just start immediately asking them questions like, hey, so what are you feeling right now? What's going on in your mind? I'll just get that, right? But even if I'm just getting a nod from them, if I'm even just getting like a little bit of this communication, it's communication. We're working on the problem already, right? So it's really useful for that. Again, the entire objective is to build a kind of rapport so that you can help them. So that is exactly what I would be doing with this gentleman right here as he stares me into the abyss. Is I would start asking him questions, make him think he's in control of this. Okay, again, this is a role play. When I start like acting unhinged, as I'm talking like right now, that's Brady the character. When I'm like talking seriously, that's me in real life. Okay, I'm gonna get in trouble with like certain parts of the audience who are like, you're a bad therapist or something, but like that's okay, you know. Like part of what I'm doing is trying to give a little bit of education, but then also like a little bit of dramatization, right? I had a therapist do this when I was a teen, and I really didn't want to participate. Well, yeah, no, I mean, it doesn't always work, right? It's a certain kind of technique for a very certain approach, right? And like I said, most of the time I do not have to do that. I find generally that most people are not on high alert, you know, if they're coming, and I'm not like, it's not like they learned 5 minutes ago that they're going to be meeting with a therapist, you know. They've already had time to sort of like think about, you know, what am I going to get out of this? And I will always ask them, like, have you been to therapy before? Was it a good experience? If they say no, you know, I'll ask them, you know, to tell me a little bit about that. And whatever they say it was like, I immediately try to mirror that it's going to be something different than that, right? Oh, it did help me. I just realized what she was doing in retrospect. It's interesting, yeah. There's also door... Yeah. So that's what I would be doing with this gentleman. speaking of power dynamics, I will also give you another. Here I am. We're progressing the narrative today. I don't care how long it takes. Okay. I've used this technique before, so like I immediately spotted when I was starting to work with someone that they saw this as a power struggle, like the therapeutic relationship. They thought, you know, if you have the impression that like therapists are trying to get in your head or get in your mind or something, you're going to be kind of wary of that. And so like I had someone come into the therapy room once, and you know, there was my chair and then there was a chair where like a client might sit. And when I walked in, I just kind of ushered them into the room, and they sat in like my chair. And I could see there was a similar verbal, like nonverbal communication. Like there was a lean back, there was like a, you know, getting comfortable. Like, I've just sat in your chair. What are you going to do now? I'm the boss of this. And so what I did was I calmly just took the seat for the client and then just continued to do what I was doing. I didn't acknowledge this at all. I didn't participate in the power struggle. Like, when you don't participate in it, it doesn't exist, essentially, right? And I ended up doing some very good work with that person. And like, it was actually really helpful for building trust with them, because they didn't feel like I was like, you know, I'm gonna upset the power balance by doing this. What I think they got out of that was like, oh, I don't need to like wear this mask for this person. You know, I don't need to be in a power dynamic with them. And so like we had a very good trusting therapeutic relationship from then. Brady, play the game. We're in a power struggle here. Sorry, this stuff is just really interesting to me. Let's go.
Like a general over his maps, he plots his moves. Judging by the way he's licking his chops, it's going to be a good one.
Okay, Authority, help me out here. This is a power struggle, so you know what to do.
So...
Yes, we've gotten him to speak.
Mr. Dubois, Mr. Kitsuragi, how nice that you found a moment to pay a visit to the Debardairs Union. I'm Everard Clare, head of this little operation here.
Who the fuck is Dubois?
Please, have a seat.
He gestures to a tiny folding chair opposite to his giant desk. What did I just say? What did I just say? Okay, like the way that your space is laid out, people who see the world in terms of power dynamics like this, consciously or unconsciously see every single environment as a field to do this kind of battle with. Only if you start assigning the same kind of like weight to it does it actually work, though. Like I said, I just let, if the client sits in my chair, I just sit in their chair. It's just a chair to me, right?
The folding chair looks like a torture device. Extremely uncomfortable.
You go ahead, detective.
Okay, Kim. He's got my back this time. You know, what we went through with Measurehead, I feel like actually started to strengthen our bonds, especially after he picked up that coin and gave it to me. Like, I've legitimately been thinking about that moment, like, since I experienced it. This is where Kim and I are on a sort of like compliance momentum, right? Like, that kind of shit would work with someone like my guy. What I found at the beginning is that Kim would he would say, you take the lead, but then I would feel like he was undermining me, right? Or he would criticize my judgments or something like that. And what I'm finding now is he's not just like seeing what I'm gonna do, he's kind of allowing me to actually take the lead here.
Whatever he has in store for you, it can't be good, he thinks. I'll do my best.
Yeah, do not be surprised if this conversation takes us 2 hours because I already have a lot to say about it. It's just look, I cannot be anyone but myself, unfortunately.
Forget about that. What's with this Dubois stuff? You're getting some seriously bad vibes from that name.
Yeah, I don't really know. I'll be honest though, I'm gonna just like admit that I've been spoiled on the fact that like Raphael Ambrosia Coteau is not my name. It's Harry. Like that's just a result of uploading stuff to YouTube and people get excited. I understand that. So I'm already aware that we have that Raphael was a fake name. I think that's pretty cool. I actually see it as it fits in line with Inland Empire here, which to me, Inland Empire has been the force that is trying to like keep you from figuring out who you were, right? It's one of the competing mental states that is, in one sense, you could say, well, it's on your side. It's trying to help you. It's empathizing. It's telling you, like, don't get involved with who you were. It makes you feel bad. It has a bad vibe to it. Like, build a new personality from where you are, right? But from my point of view as the therapist and really just as a human, like, I think that this is a kind of avoidance, right? Like, I want to approach who I was, but in a sensitive and slow way. I haven't looked in the mirror yet, for example. I haven't discovered what my name was. I think right now, where my character is at, especially after seeing those bottles on the ground, going back into our bedroom, like, we're starting to get a little more comfortable with the idea of approaching our past self. We're wearing the coat, for example, but we're not sure if we like that person yet. I think that right now I would be saying something like, why are you calling me Mr. Dubois? But that would upset the power dynamic, so I'm just going to... What did Kim tell me to do? I don't want to undermine him either. Kim told me to sit in the chair, so I'm going to listen to Kim. We are two and he is one. We've got to stand strong in this one. Take a seat.
Excellent, Mr. Dubois. I can see that you're a reasonable man, and reasonable men can be of great use to one another.
Remain serious. Stick through this.
So tell me, how can the head of the Debarders Union help a representative of the Revachol Citizens Militia today?
Okay, starting off with letting me clarify my purpose here. We know that there's another purpose here, okay? I'm here to arrest you, or I don't know, actually, what I'm here to do.
The chair you're sitting on has got to be the most uncomfortable chair in the world. It's violating your backside.
Endure.
By the way, I heard you got a rather rude reception from a certain Lawrence Gart. Some people have no manners, it pains me to say.
He's trying to sympathize with me. He's trying to draw me into his little game. I don't like it. I see right through it.
This should take care of that nonsense.
It's a bribe. He points to a giant novelty check on his desk. It's absolutely comically huge.
It should be sufficient to cover your expenses for a few days and patch over your differences with a cafeteria manager. Go ahead, take it.
So he wants me to become dependent on him. Not gonna work, fellow.
Hey, that's 25 real. That's good money. Think of all the stuff you could.
Okay, electrochemistry coming in, doing exactly what I said it would do, right? Electrochemistry is, in my interpretation, could be wrong, but the voice that it often speaks from, the way I see it, is from the nervous system. It is the priority structure at the foundational layer, which gets hijacked by impulses and desires. It's basically like the id, right, in like a Freudian sense. The thing is like in real life, listening to volition and like savoir-faire, like the things that are good for you, they take a lot of effort. It takes me a lot of effort to like eat a healthy meal. One, it's more expensive. Two, I have to spend time like planning it, thinking about the calorie intake, making sure it's like, I have time to prepare it and all these things. Like, it's way easier to just go eat junk food. It's not as good for me. Logically and morally, I know it's not as good for me, but it is harder to listen to volition and things that are good for you, the voices that are good for you, because they take more effort. It's way easier to listen to like electrochemistry because it deals in like base impulses. And like my character has a substance use issue that has rewired his priorities. There is some tension here between I'm trying to stick to the high effort, stay composed, don't show that you're in pain. But I'm also thinking I could buy a lot of cigarettes with that.
Owe him for? This is a trap.
I don't want to show that I don't know the relation here. I don't want... some part of me wants to keep up the idea that like we're in collaboration here. But I also think it would be a fucking power play to just deny the check. The thing is a little bit of me makes me feel like having my partner with me makes me feel like that's a certain kind of pressure as well. Like I've embarrassed myself in front of Kim so many times. That's a source of anxiety that's competing with the like, well, what if I can't buy my next substance or something? What will Kim think? Yeah, he'd probably disapprove. Keep it.
Okay. I respect a man with principles.
I would arrest him.
Then.
He crosses his arms on his ample midsection and sinks further into his chair. Okay, so change in body posture. Okay. Wide open stance like this, I'm in control. Arms across the chest, I'm feeling a little defensive.
Now, I'd like to set your mind at ease about one other matter. Your lost gun. Let me assure you, Union people are on it as we speak. I've got my best hounds looking for that lost gun.
It does seem like we are previously intertwined with this gentleman. And he knows that.
His slug-like lips move, but all you hear is an echo. Lost gun, lost gun, lost gun.
What he does not know, though, is that we have lost our memory because he's operating on, like, an assumption that I know what the fuck he's talking about when I don't.
The world is swallowed by a black
Shit.
hole of fear. Only 2 words escape its gravitational pull. Lost and gun.
But I don't need my gun. I have not needed it once. If I just take a look at my character, okay, I have already demonstrated that I have the physical prowess to take down Measurehead. You did have a conversation about losing your gun, though. Well, but with Kim. It's part of me being a decent cop. But I want to show confidence here. Keeping your shit together. That's okay. I'm not worried. I don't need a fucking gun. What did I call them? Viper and... I forget. Whatever he called his arms. The Union have eyes and ears. That's okay. I got this. Kim's got a gun.
Are you all right, Harry? You say you got this, but you seem a little anxious to me. Don't be. Everything's going to be all right.
Anxious? I'm not anxious. I'm a little anxious.
It's not like you left it loaded. You didn't lose a loaded gun. Local children aren't out there playing with it right now, pointing it into their own mouths.
It could
It's in
be.
a safe place. I just know it. I have a feeling everything's going to be all right.
He's trying to set me up.
It was loaded. There were 2 bullets in it. You always keep at least 2 barrels loaded.
Shit. Okay, I don't have an option here. Don't panic. I mean, there's no harm in doing this, right? Look, I just accept I am never really going to figure out this system, okay? I know it's killing some people to watch me play this and be like, this is how the check system works. Like, I'm going to reevaluate whether this works every single time. I guess I could get Kim involved here. Let's get Kim involved first.
Officer, we will deal with this later. We don't need Mr. Claire's help with this.
We're on the same track. We're on the same
I
track.
wouldn't be so sure about that.
But I have to choose this now. Well, I guess I have no other choice.
Officer, we will deal.
I wouldn't be so sure about that.
Whatever. Watch me fucking compose myself like you've never even seen before.
God, you're sweating. Your knee is jerking. You're
damn
about
it.
to cry, aren't you? You're about to cry because you lost your gun and those children are gonna shoot themselves with it.
No, they're not. I mean, they could. So what? Men can cry too.
You want to cry? God, you're weak. Whatever you do, don't cry. He'll think you're disgusting.
Fuck. God damn it.
Mr. Dubois, you don't look so good.
Hold it in, Harry. Cry later. It'll be time for healing later.
What is this, Mr. Dubois?
God
He
damn
keeps
it.
Repeating.
I'm
What
crumbling.
is he trying to pull here? You need to cool the fuck down. Chill.
Kim, back me up. Put your hand on my shoulder or something.
Mr. Dubois! Mr. Dubois! Harry!
You keep sliding down the chair like a jello shot. There are no Harrys. Let your mind go to a safe place. Yes, use your coping skills.
While Everard is distracted by your odd behavior, the lieutenant's eyes are mapping everything around you. The
Yes.
folder, desk, papers on the wall.
Investigate him, Kim.
Mr. Dubois, are you okay?
Stall. We're
Can
stalling
I
for
get you
time.
a
This is all
glass
part of the
water
plan.
Or something? Are you having some kind of medical emergency?
Look, we're doing healthy cop, sick cop. All right? While he's all focused on me crumbling to little pieces in front of him, he's enjoying this. Okay, he's living for this. He's paying no mind to the stalwart, studious, composed Kim Kitsuragi behind me, scoping out his whole fucking game plan. Okay? He's taking all of this information in. And if I have to let my ego die to progress this case, then I will do it. I will do it, and we will succeed in spite of how broken I am as a person.
Maybe you could use your hands somehow, in a kind of throw-in motion, like you're throwing that Mr. Dubois act right back at him. He's Mr. Dubois.
I'm melting. Actually, this chair is uncomfortable. I could use that glass of water. Oh, yeah, man. I'm fucking great. Keep sliding. Nah, I'm good as it gets. Mr. Dubois, vaguely gesture with your hands above your head. I don't like any of these options, but that's just life. That's just life sometimes. I don't like all of life's options either. Again, I'm going to try to remain as composed as I can and stall for time. Kim is scoping the scene right now.
What an odd demonstration of... you got me, Harry. I don't even know what. As entertaining as it was, I'm afraid we're wasting our time, and I'm an extremely busy man, as I'm sure you are too.
I am very busy.
Okay, enough. We are here to ask you some questions pertaining to a murder investigation.
Yeah, investigate him, Kim, and then let's arrest him.
Quick, here's your window. Get yourself together and ask him questions. Police officer questions.
Reaction speed, let's go.
It is about time to stop embarrassing yourself. Questions will help you regain some of your lost dignity.
Thank you, Volition. I appreciate that. This whole series has been about embarrassing myself. Okay. Let's hesitate on asking questions about ourselves. We want to find out what the Union is involved with the drug trade. Okay, this all gets back to lady at the docks. Pier. Joyce. She knows something about the case. She won't talk to us because I don't have my badge. I don't have my badge because I am a wreck of a human. She'll only do so if we get the drugs out of Martinez. So I'm confronting him so we can figure out where the drugs are and then solve that and then talk to Joyce and she'll help us solve the murder. And then I will impress Kuno. Okay, I just needed to recap where I'm at here. I'm looking into your shady brew. I'm told the Union is involved in the local drug trade. Let's ask him... Well, some questions. That's not a question, that's a statement. So I should really go with, like... What's in the container that's outside your office? Okay, let's try the compliance momentum, all right? Let's get him to answer some very simple questions so that he is primed to answer more complicated ones.
My dear Harry, there are literally millions of containers in this harbor. I couldn't possibly remember what's in all of them.
There's something special about it. It was attached to the Kvalsund crane.
Harry, you smooth-talking son of a bitch. Time is a precious resource, and I don't have enough of it to count containers with you.
Sounds like you're getting a little anxious, buddy.
Smooth talking. Maybe that's the way to go about opening the container. You should at least try convincing it.
I already tried that. It didn't work. Okay, let's try another tactic here. Aren't you going to ask me how I got in?
Am I going to ask? Hell, Harry. You spin-kicked my strongest man in the face. I saw it from my window.
Yeah, well, you should be scared because I'll spin kick the fuck out of you right now.
Would you ask a man like that how he got into your container yard?
He doesn't have a window. That's a good point.
It was a figure of speech, Harry. Of course I don't have a window. I'm in a container.
This is a very subtle battle of our wits. Or maybe I really do sound like an idiot. I genuinely don't know at this point.
Anyway, I assure you, I am a very well-informed man. Information reaches me before I even get the chance to request it.
Let's change subjects before we get into this. You called me Mr. Dubois. Why?
Of course. Let us dispatch with the formalities. You call me Everard, I call you Harry.
That's what the hanged corpse called you. Harry.
So that's really my name.
My God, so it's true. I didn't want to believe it, but you are a fantastic science fiction amnesiac cop, aren't you? What are the odds of that?
Fuck, he figured me out.
Are very low.
My memory is fine. I'm just testing you. Or do we go with the honest question, or the honest statement here? Let's hold our ground.
So good to hear that, Harry. Apparently my sources were wrong. However, if you did have a spot of memory trouble, I could help you out with my big fat folder.
No.
Are you trying to tell me you've gotten hold of some of our documents?
Let's go, Kim. I knew you would be on it.
Mr. Kitsuragi, would you mind? Me and Harry are talking about his lost identity right now.
Asking too many questions will make you look weak. You should maybe focus on the folder.
What the hell, Volition? You just told me to ask him questions. Fuck. I did read the shipping folders, but it's not a... There's no way I can pass that right now. Let's just keep asking him things. Maybe I will circle back to this. Or let's just ask him where he got it.
Ah, this? My friends in your organization gave it to me, Harry.
I find that very suspicious. May I have a look?
Put the squeeze on him, Kim.
I'm afraid this is meant for Union eyes only, Mr. Kitsuragi. I'm sure you understand. Please continue, Harry.
Oh, Kim suspects something. And I've read the folders before. This increased my chances. Do I have any skill points to put into drama? No. I can't ask him too many questions. What kind of cop does it say I am? Let's try that.
Well, Harry, if I were to sum you up in one word, it would be apologetic.
I'm sorry?
Yes. You seem to be. A lot of the time. But right now, there's no reason to be. Let loose a little. Be you.
We are learning more things about ourselves, okay? Like, if I am my character, if I'm Harry, and I am starting to become invested in the idea of, like, how much do I really want to know about myself? There are things there are some virtues I can detect that make me want to do this, but there are some things I'm very terrified of. I am very scared of learning that I am not a good person. I'm very scared of learning that I am actually not a good cop, that people don't see me as one, that they don't like me, right? I'm scared of the idea that the reason I lost my memory is because I tried to do something to myself because I hated myself. That's a terrifying thought, but like building the profile of someone who is invested in healing, there is a hesitation to learn these things, but there is an innate desire to learn them. Let's get this straight. What's my full name?
It's Harry. Harry Dubois.
Okay.
You feel like a Dubois, but you don't feel like a Harry. Strange. You don't feel like any of these things. You know what your name is. You have a sophisticated name, like that of a count, or a beautiful man.
Well, that's bullshit. That's not how we really feel. That's not my name. My name is Rafael Casto. Okay, I like it. I can work with that. It's not so bad. Harry Dubois. I like it. It's a cool name. Oh, yeah. I failed at this. Okay.
And I can work with you, Harry. Now, what else can I do for you?
Let's ask some other questions.
Of course, Harry, of course. Let's
I met
not
Joyce.
linger on personal details and amnesia. You wanted something from me.
Or let's talk about my lost gun, I guess. Maybe I can get some more information about the folder there.
Yes, your lost gun. My best men are on it. They're turning every stone, searching every playground, asking kids, grandmas, everyone.
I find that hard to believe.
Your gun will be found, Harry. Let me assure you of that. It's just a matter of time and effort.
The only way to find it seems to be working with him. He might even be holding your gun hostage.
Hold on, could he really hold my gun hostage? I will not be blackmailed with this gun business. Yeah, I'm not going to succumb to that.
Harry, I was only trying to be tactful. A lost gun is a dangerous thing. I can't have it around in my neighborhood. Kids could be playing gun roulette with it as we speak. teenage gangs could be arming themselves. Get a hold of yourself, Harry.
He has mentioned children a lot. I don't think that was here. Yeah, but he's pushing a lot on the kids angle. I think I have to go investigate.
I assure you, we are working on locating the missing sidearm as well.
The lieutenant is concerned about the lost gun and feels that the fact you haven't prioritized looking for it is unfortunate, if inevitable, and doesn't put the RCM in a good light.
Well, what am I supposed to do, Kim? Do I stop all of this to find the gun, or do I work with the shady guy to get it? I can't do them both.
Excellent, Mr. Kitsuragi. That's excellent news. Looks like we have a friendly gun-finding competition on our hands.
Okay. We're back in the power struggle. This is intense. This is way harder than the confrontation with Measurehead. Let's see what he thinks about Joyce.
Oh, that's very nice. I haven't gotten around to her yet. I'm very, very busy, you see. I hope you're getting along. One thing I want to make very clear, Harry, is that this is not some kind of union versus corporation situation. Everyone is just pals here.
Just pals?
We're all trying to do what's best for Martin A's. Don't feel like you can't cooperate with her because you and I are such good friends and I'm helping you find your lost gun. I'm not a jealous guy.
Whoa, that's so nice of him. Suspiciously nice.
Are you sure? I find it a little odd. Ooh, we could press on the Mr. Galmont angle. Joey said the previous union leader vanished under suspicion. Let's just ask him what happened. Let's see what his false narrative is, so that I have a little bit more room to investigate him.
What do you mean, Harry? Nothing. I let him go.
He made concessions for the company in previous negotiations. Why would you let an ally like that go?
He's an old man, Harry. I wanted him to spend more time with his family. God knows how long he's got left.
You called him a midget. Let's confront him.
Harry, I have little people in my organization. I would never call someone a midget. What is this? Honestly, I'm beginning to think you're a midget, Harry. I'm only kidding, Harry. You're not a midget. No one is. We're pals.
I thought you just said you would never call someone that, and then you went back on your word.
It's hard to say if he really lost his temper, or if this is another one of his tricks. This man almost never angers visibly.
Okay, so disarming him in some ways, it's about challenging his character, not his power. His character. He doesn't like it when his character is challenged. Are you sure? I find it a little odd.
I'm just a nice guy, Harry. I wouldn't be where I am now if I wasn't nice.
I'm sure you believe that.
Politics is all about emotions, and I want you to have positive emotions when you think of me.
Okay then, positive emotions it is. You like positive emotions.
No electrochemistry. Stop it. You're intruding. Why haven't you let her in to see you? Let's challenge his character. He does not like the idea that I'm positioning his character as being inconsistent. Let's go in.
If she actually wants to see me, she will find a way. Any good
Voice is raising up.
negotiator would. And I just don't have anything to discuss with a bad negotiator.
I feel like that's an honest statement. I feel like there's no mask behind that.
He doesn't want to see her. It's as simple as that.
He's starting to be a little more disarmed. Let's push on the union leader angle.
Vanished? Harry, the woman left her casserole in the oven and couldn't make it here in time for the voting. Oh, did I leave my casserole on? Better go home and check. The election can wait. When she got back, the whole thing was over.
Everett Joyce seems to think the Union is lowballing her.
Yes, lowballing, of course. This isn't a casino, Harry. Real people, real livelihoods are at stake here. But everything's a casino for those rich types.
His expression makes it clear. This is childish and irresponsible behavior.
Okay, let's talk about something else.
Of course, Harry. Let me just assure you one more time. It's perfectly okay to share anything we discuss here with this Joyce. This is a completely transparent organization.
I feel...
I have no interest in what she is doing, but I myself have nothing to hide. Your
Bullshit.
business is your business, and I respect your privacy. Just remember, none of this is secret.
He's trying to give me a false
Tell
sense
her
of
about
security
all of
here.
it. My brother's picture, my singing swordfish clock. Tell her how overweight I am and how I'm helping you find your lost gun. Tell her about everything. Everett doesn't mind.
That's so suspicious.
This is weird. Not nice weird, but okay.
Yeah. I want to talk about the hanging.
Oh, of course. That's your main thing here. That's why you're in Martinez. I know everything that goes on around here, and I would love to help, like I'm helping you with your lost gun. I mean, it's no secret that the lynching is connected to the strike. So much to talk about. Honestly, it's been weighing on me so heavily. I understand you need to interview me.
Say nothing.
But there's a thing that's been keeping me up at night. I want to talk about the hanging. I mean, if we could just calmly talk...
Oh,
exchange
fuck. He's gonna
information,
tell me I need
we
to
could
do
blow
something
this
for
thing
him
wide
first.
open.
This guy.
Yes, that sounds good. Let's do that.
But I can't think straight with this thing weighing on me. You're police officers, aren't you? I have a crazy idea. You guys are basically door-opening machines. Incredibly talented at opening doors.
I've opened a few doors in my life. Let's see where this is going.
And I'm sure you're going to open this one with flying colors, Harry. This really is very simple, and there's nothing shady about it.
Oh, that's what I was waiting for. I needed to... First, I needed to hear him say that it's not shady, and now I think it isn't.
Does
Come
this
on,
jiggling
man.
ooze think he's going to use you?
Yeah.
He's got another thing coming. Play his game, son, with your eyes peeled. He's going to slip up, and when he does, you're going to come out on top.
Fucking goddamn right. That's the force that defeated Measurehead, okay? Now it's coming in with the with the intellect. Whose door is it?
Oh, no one's. It's just a weasel. A weasel lives there. Nothing for you to worry about.
Why are you asking me to do it then? Why not just open it yourself?
Harry, I'm a very busy man, and more importantly, I don't have that extraordinary physique you do. You look like you could run around all day.
I probably could.
You want to send someone a message that the police are working for you.
That's right.
I repeat, I'm a very, very busy man, Mr. Kitsuragi, and therefore I must occasionally enlist outside help. So what will it be, Harry?
What do you mean by a weasel?
A loud blabbering weasel. When weasels feel no one is watching, they start acting foolishly.
Again, the moment that I see from him where he breaks from like this self-security is when there's a challenge to the consistency of his character, right? Like he doesn't like that someone is spreading something about him. He's putting on the facade that like you can go tell Joyce anything about me, right? There's nothing to hide. Like the idea that there could be a part of him that could be misinterpreted it's scary to him.
Just go there, unlock the door, and leave it open. It's been such a burden on me, Harry. I just want this to be over so I can discuss business with you.
I bet you don't even know anything about the hanging.
Harry, my dear friend, I am what people call a local bigwig. I know everything that goes on in Martinez.
I'm refusing. I'm not doing this for you. Fuck that.
Of course, Harry, I understand. But if that's the case, I don't think we'll ever find your gun. Even worse, we won't be able to speak like equals about the murder.
How about I come back in here once I find my gun and I point it at you? Yeah, that wouldn't be very cop-like. that's my that's my authority coming. Okay, calm down. Let's rebalance here.
Perhaps this was just bad timing for you. Know that you can always come back to me. I really hope you do. For your sake, my sake, and for your gun's sake too.
Yes, we both understand what you meant.
This may be the only way, he thinks. I won't hold it against you. In fact, we probably should reconsider later.
So what? Is this telling me that Kim thinks it's okay if I go do this? I mean, my thinking is like, if I say yes to the task, I at least get to know more about what his plans are, because then I can go investigate, and I don't have to do what this motherfucker wants, but I can at least like find out his intentions. Audio from the game a little low. Let's see if I can fix that. No, it's in a... So help me out here, guys, because again, my goal is to actually progress the game, even at the behest of my own roleplay sometimes. So it sounds like Kim is okay if we take on the task. Once we get there, though, maybe we decide to do something else. Play both sides.
Yes. My best men at... What's that, Harry? You're getting a little pale. Is it the words paranoid schizophrenic and lost gun in one sentence? Don't worry, it's just a lead. It'll probably turn out to be nothing. Yes. What's that, Harry? You're getting a little pale. A fantastic change of heart, Harry. Go talk to Manana down by the gates. He'll brief you and give you the key.
Okay.
Just open one little door. You don't need to go in or anything. I just want that weasel to come home and see the unlocked door. That's it. Anything else we should discuss?
Well, we will be able to investigate that, but let's return to the question about the folder for now.
Let's hear it, Harry.
Maybe I should ask about this. It could damage me, though. This seems a little too desperate. The thing is like, I do want to know this, but not from him. I am self-aware enough to know that he will weaponize that information, whether it is true or not, so I'm not going to ask. I'm not going to ask this for now. Maybe I can get a point in drama or something along the way and come back to it.
Of course, Harry, of course. Let's not linger on personal details and amnesia. You
okay, let's leave.
From me? Wait. You need this to get in and out through the gate.
Great. Wouldn't want to get stuck in here.
Here, you're one of us now. A real red and white Union man. Take care, Harry.
Okay. I have made 42% checks for. I also lost like a...
So we've been monitoring you internally,
80%er.
your capo type.
Wait, there are capo types? What is this? What is a capo type?
Yes. Guess what's yours?
Sorry, cop. Sorry, cop.
Yes. Sorry, cop. The cop who's sorriest. Let's make it official then, shall we? Huge lack of enthusiasm going on in here.
What are the other capo types?
Oh, you know. Apocalypse, Superstellar, the advanced interesting cop, liquid shadow cop. But you're too sorry to say those things. So, here we go.
So, I actually do think that, okay, like, I don't understand the internalization thing yet. This is kind of only one of the third or fourth times we've encountered it. Here's the thing. I'll talk about the thought cabinet and all that stuff, but, like, I'll probably, like, wait till I'm much further in the game and I've experienced a lot of it, and then I'll make a whole video on it or something, like, because I'll say some shit that's, like, stupid if I start giving my interpretation now. Other than to say that, like, obviously, yeah, I could talk about how thoughts start as thoughts and become core beliefs. I could talk about schemas. Essentially, like, every time a thought gets reinforced by something evidential, you know, it can become a core belief over time. But core beliefs can be very maladaptive, meaning that they can develop out of, like, negative experiences. And when we internalize something that's very negative about ourselves, it becomes very deeply rooted. And we often don't even know that it's the source of many counterproductive behaviors. What that turns into is a lot of, like, outward avoidance of inner conflicts. Let me know if you would like me to go on a very long, thorough tangent about that. Or if you prefer I save it for, like, another time. The thing is I think that my character is the sorry type. If I'm thinking legitimately about who my character is right now, and I actually base this on, like, what does it look like when someone finally crosses that threshold of how do I integrate who I was with who I am in a way that, like, does not harm me, right? In a way that feels like I'm making amends for those things, but not leaning more into, like, self-destruction, okay? And I have seen and do think that a lot of apology would come through this, right? Because what is an apology right now to my character? What job does this category of behaviors and emotions and thoughts, what is it about, right? My character right now feels like I don't know enough about who I was. I don't know what I did. I'm not in control of the narrative that other people have about me. I don't even know my own name. I don't know if I have a family. I don't know if I hurt those people. I don't know if I abandoned them. I don't know that I am alone in this world. And if I were to find out I have a family and that I lost them, it would crush me. Like, there are so many things going on in my character's mind. So many things he is not in control of. And when we feel like that, the only sense of action that we can take sometimes is just a genuine apology. Because we say to ourselves and to everyone, I'm sorry, I'm not connected to those things that I did or those things that I feel. And the only way I can respond to them is react to the emotion I have in the present, which is that, like, I regret it. I regret not knowing. I regret not being able to give you a genuine response to this. So yes, I do think that, like, apology, being apologetic, being sorry is very fitting for the narrative of this character so far, from everything that I've seen of him so far. There's a lot of shame in that, absolutely, right? But apology, it can be a double-edged sword, right? For some people, they start to wield the apology because they get so used to telling themselves that apologizing is the work for dealing with this thing I don't like. We discover that, oh, when I apologize, it gives me that sense of control. It gives me a small sense of ownership over the past. And we start saying it, and it loses its meaning. But it needs to be apology and action. It needs to be apology and change. It needs to be apology and reflection. It needs to be apology and seeking feedback. I can't just tell you I'm sorry. I need to tell you how do I need to change, right? It's the same words, but the intention behind it is very important. So for my character to actually heal, it cannot just be, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, absolve me, please. It needs to be, I'm sorry, how can I change? I'm sorry, what do I need to do to be better, right? I'm going to opt into this because even though it's not the most comfortable thing for us to admit, it's what I feel is right.
Of course you are. It's okay. See if you can get something out of this, like info. Or maybe every time you say you're sorry, you get $1 million.
That's exactly what I'm talking about, right? Like there's a part of our mind that goes to that place that says, okay, well, what does apology do for me in a transactional sense? When I say sorry to someone, what do I get back from them? Do I get back from them, it's okay? Do I get absolved of what I did? Because if I feel like I do, then okay, well, I've already gotten the reward for apology, which is absolution. But if you're looking for absolution from someone else, you're doing sorry the wrong way. What you really need is absolution from yourself, right? I can genuinely speak to this considering that I just uploaded like what is essentially an apology video, right? Because like I got some things seriously wrong about Kim's character, and you know, a mix of what I saw as my character's dialogue and you know, my own impressions like resulted in some really bad takes. And no one was like, you need to apologize for this, right? Like it was, I felt I needed to say sorry to people, but I also like, I needed to apologize because it wasn't okay with myself, right? And that's what I mean by this. It's saying sorry so that you get someone else's forgiveness is only half of it, right? You have to mean it because it makes you feel more okay with yourself, right? Like life is better when you live it honestly and you don't avoid even the worst parts of yourself, I think. And it's hard to live that way because it's not always clear that you are doing something dishonest. Sorry, therapist. That's me. I guess it is me, you know. I think apology is really important for your own self-healing. And I think it's fitting for what we're doing in this character, you know? Let's see what it says. Rigorous self-critique. Okay. Let's check this out. Minus authority. I think that's good. I think that's legitimately good. All I have been talking about is how our character views the world in terms of authority, and it has led to very negative consequences. It led to us trying to hit a child because we felt like he was emasculating us. It led us to irresponsibly shooting down the corpse because we wanted to show Kim that we had it under control, right? It led us to like failing to navigate our conversation with Joyce because we failed to see that authority in intellect is comparable or greater than authority in status, right? The only place that authority has won out, really, was with Measurehead so far. I consider this an anomaly. So losing authority is good for us right now. We do not want to see the world in terms of authority. This is not a good way to organize our lives. We can see that in Everard Clare's view of the world. I like this a lot. You're one sorry piece of shit. A cop penitent, a flagellant cop monk. This is not the right line of work for you. You should be groveling at the feet of a feudal lord, providing lurid evidence against yourself at a Mazovian show trial, or ripping the flesh from your back with a cat of nine tails. Whatever made this way, you can be damn sure it was your own fault. Do you really criticize yourself? Who knows? You might uncover something of importance from your guilt-ridden past. We're absolutely going to internalize this. To me, this is the moment I'm looking for from a character, but it's also a moment I am looking for in the process of therapy, right? Rigorous self-critique, but with a backbone of empathy towards yourself. Let's internalize. This is good. This is good for us. Maybe in myself as well. Totally. Totally. Okay, Mr. Clare. Let's go bust down that door. Thank you for watching my video. If you enjoyed it, consider giving it a like and letting me know what you thought of it in the comments. You can subscribe to catch the next video here, or you can see things a little bit earlier if you support the channel either through Twitch or Patreon. Links to both of those and the community Discord are in the description. Thanks again, and I will see you next time. Bye.